Welcome to the Tech and Accent podcast.
Here you will learn about being an expat, working abroad, technology, and more from non-native English speakers. Let's get into it.
Welcome to another episode, and today you have a special guest living in Brazil. I don't know where you are, Sibelius, but thank you for being here today and sharing your story with us. So if you could introduce yourself and could tell us where you are located now, a bit of what you do, just an introduction before I start asking more questions.
Okay, thanks Alekson. My name is Sibelius. I'm co-founder of Walmyr, instant payment fintech here in Brazil. I'm located here in Florianopolis. It's a great place here in Brazil, maybe the safest one, a beautiful place. If you come to Brazil, come to Florianopolis. It has like 42 beats. That's great. So let me tell me about myself. I was graduated on computer science by University of São Paulo. Then I started working at startups in São Paulo. I started working as an intern at Hotel, a check-in startup for employees. Didn't believe that business a lot. So I decided to build my own startup, and then I found like my partner, Rafael Turkey. And then we built a lot of kind of like projects together, like some software house projects for Natura, the build company. And then we also made the Go Airlines apps using React Native. And then we are using all this bleeding edge tech early in the 2016. After that, we realized that software house that wasn't so good. So we got the money, but like we need to work every year, like to get the same money. So we transitioned to SaaS business model, and then we start building our human resource SaaS, like feedback house. The problem with HR is that people don't care a lot, so it's hard to sell. And then after that, we saw like Pix, the instant payment solutions from the Central Bank of Brazil, to start shipping up here in Brazil. And then we decided to build something on top of Pix for merchants. So Walmyr, it's a payment solution similar to Stripe or PayPal, but like focused on the instant payment solution. And we are building all this new software on top of the instant payments that we can run like in Brazil, but also in any instant payment solutions in the world, like US is with the FedNow, or Colombia, or India, or any of this kind of place. Like ours is to first like make our business work well here in Brazil, and later on like move to other countries for sure. I think that's it. And then if I want to talk a little bit about my not personal, but like community life, I contribute like a lot to open source on GitHub. I also made like React community here in Brazil, the biggest one. I also have some private Discord channels with my community, my mentees. I do mentorship for them. I also do consulting for startups around the world. I have like a lot of followers on Twitter, like 24. I think 40K, kind of like this. So that's my background, I guess.
And you didn't mention about the React community?
Yeah,
how was it?
I will start like React community here in Brazil at 2016, like when React was just a challenger, like nobody was using React. Everybody wants to use React, but like everybody was using like Angular or jQuery. Like we bet on React early in the 2016. We are building like React native apps, and then the community grew like from 10 people to 16,000 people, I think in 3-4 years. So it was great. Like São Paulo was great to build this community. I was living there. Like after the pandemic, I moved to Florianopolis for better quality of life.
Oh, that's awesome. I asked about React because my co-host of the podcast, Walmyr, he really likes React. he also loves Florianopolis. And when you started the introduction yourself, I thought, oh, this episode should be done by Walmyr, not me, as he would like to interview you. So continuing, you talked that you're from São Paulo, but you moved to Florianopolis. My question was why, but you just answered. So I have another question. What you most like in Florianopolis, and what is the thing you don't like in Florianopolis?
Okay, so the thing that I like about Florianopolis is it's safe. So here in Brazil, we don't have like a safe place like US or Europe. So Florianopolis is safe for me. It's not so big. So we have 500,000 people. It's very small compared to São Paulo. So you can go to restaurants and you don't have like all these lines. The beach's also good. The nature is good. Like it's a beautiful place. I think that's the thing that I like the most. What I don't like here is the traffic. The traffic is very bad. Like we have like few streets. Like this place wasn't like planned like most of the cities in Brazil. So we have like a lot of cars, but we don't have like the proper like traffic lines.
I can imagine that.
That's the thing.
When I was in Florianopolis for the last time, I don't know why, but I thought it was similar to Ibiza. And it's an island, I guess that's why. But
yeah, so yeah, with an island you don't have like a lot to do. You don't have like a lot of space.
Also you have a Golden Gate, right?
Yeah, we have like a Golden Gate. It took like 10 years to make, and it's good, it's beautiful, but like we don't use a lot.
And how about your English? How did you learn English? And have you lived abroad? How was it if you did?
Okay, so about my English, I self-learning English. That's crazy. Like I was watching Telecurso 2000 was a very old course here in Brazil, was free stuff, and then I was just watching this and learned by myself. I made like just I think 2-3 months of preparatory course for the TOEFL. Then I made the TOEFL exam, and then I went to US to study abroad, like in the Science Without Borders. And then I spent like 1 year in US. I spent like 9 months in Albany, capital of New York. And then after that, I went to Arizona and spent 3 months there doing like summer internship. And then 1 year US, my English improved a lot and was really great for sure. Like great experience.
I didn't know Albany was the capital, and Albany is on the way from New York to Montreal. I did this road, and I saw this city. So talking about work, you did an introduction about Woovi and about of your career. Today you are a CTO, right?
Yeah, that's correct. And the CTO here at Woovi, I'm responsible for all this technical part to make sure like everything's working well, to reduce all the bugs, to monitor, like to add like observability and make sure our systems are working properly. I guess I think I'm doing like a good job. We moved out from the AWS, from the cloud, to our own bare metal hardwares. We bought like a few hardwares and put like in a co-locations, and we are running this bare metal workflow using Proxmox and Kubernetes. The performance is great, like it's much faster than the cloud. So if you're like following like the HT, the Rails guy, you should like move out from the cloud. You're gonna save like a lot of money, and it's much more performant for sure. And it's not so hard as you thought. So I'm responsible for the technical part, but like as I'm the co-founder, I also focus on the sales, on the customer success. I need to make sure like the company will be profitable, we're gonna be a success for sure. So I don't focus a lot. I focus a lot on tech, like not on tech.
Yeah, I'm sure it's already success because just to give context to people, I've, I had the idea of inviting you to this episode because I wanted to bring someone with success in a startup environment, and I saw some videos on YouTube about Woovie, and because I know you from Twitter, I thought, oh, maybe Sibelius is gonna be a great episode, and here we are. So consider I already have success.
Yeah, we are growing like every day. It is great, like all the challenges are great, like it's a great path like to go. But like we still need to be like a lot. We still need to be like a lot of new stuff because like Pix and instant payments are very new. We have like a lot of opportunities to build something that it doesn't exist. So one thing that we build with Woovie that's unique, like we have cashback using instant payments. So you just pay and get the cashback instantaneously. You don't need to wait like 30 days or something like this. We also have like kind of we integrate like Pix with the thermal printers, and we call this Maquininha Pix. So you don't need like this credit card machine that's expensive to receive Pix in your store, you know. And then you're probably gonna like build like our own hardware with Pix, maybe go to China to build this stuff. So we're doing like everything that nobody's doing with Pix. We are trying to build something that's unique with Pix, like something that you cannot do like with boleros or credit cards. Something that can only happen on using Pix. That's our approach.
I have something in my mind because I'm trying to see how we explain Pix for someone who is not from Brazil. And I think in States they have an app called Vimo. Do you know that app?
Yeah, I know that app. Yeah, it's kind of like instant payments, but like only inside an app. You can explain Pix like Vimo, but like for any bank. You don't need like only Vimo. You can just instantly like send money from one account to another account without like intermediates, you know. And Pix is awesome because you can send money like in 10 seconds. It takes like at most 10 seconds, so it's very fast.
Also, you can pay bills like this.
Yeah, so they have like a QR code like in China. And then the thing about like QR codes, you can put like a unique ID on each QR code, so you can reconciliate like the payments with the bills, with your e-commerce order, or I don't know, anything you want. So you have like you can send money, but like you can also conciliate the money, the payment with an order from your e-commerce or store.
When I was in Brazil for my last time, I was in 2021, and that was the year I met Pix, and I didn't know what was Pix. I was living in Canada for 2 years, and then I paid like a water on the beach with Pix, and that was like, wow, this is so awesome. Because in Canada, just to tell people that sometimes people in Brazil think Brazil is the worst place, but in Canada sometimes you have to pay with check. My tax return was sent by my home in a check, so I have to deposit a check in the bank to have the money from my tax return. Like, it's Canada, it's a first world country, and we still are late on this. And I think Brazil is awesome with Pix, and we should share to everyone about this solution to be example and inspiration. And I think Woovie is also doing great. So if you could tell someone from outside how you integrate Woovie with the idea of Pix.
Okay, so Pix has some APIs, but like not everybody can consume APIs, you know. So if you are not like a developer, you can consume an API. It's not so easy for you. So what we made here, we have like plugins to integrate with e-commerce. We have some kind of app to integrate directly in your brick and mortar store. So we are making Pix more accessible for business, so they can manage their business, they can manage their charges, their reports, the statements from the bank. And then one thing that's interesting, we have like permissions. So we have like kind of a bank account for your business, and then you can grant like permissions to your employees to check if the payment was made, but they are not allowed to see like the full statement. They don't see like the balance, the reports. They only see like the charge was paid. So we help all this kind of like operational work. So we reduce all this operational work to receive Pix, to manage all this reconciliation to business, and then we generate reports, and you can see if you're selling more or not. So we are bringing Pix to all business, not like only business that can have like developers. We have like kind of like no code and low code to make it easy to integrate like with WhatsApp, SMS, and emails, kind of like this.
Oh, that's awesome. And I'm curious about the beginning of all this. Like, how was it to start a startup? Like, you don't have the market fit yet, and you don't know if it's gonna work. I guess you knew it, but in that time you didn't have the result. How was the experience of, okay, let's start this?
Okay, so you never know if something is gonna happen. It's gonna happen well. So if you know like the odds, like the return on the investment won't be so great. So you need this kind of risk. We don't know yet if Woo is gonna be huge or not. We believe so, but like we don't know. Nobody knows. That's how market works. So our MVP, our minimal viable product for Pix, was to integrate the APIs from some existing banks like Itaú, Gerencianet, with our front end. Was kind of like we're being like a front end for Pix. And then we did this API, like a simpler API on top of this bank's APIs. And then we started building all this kind of plugins for e-commerce. And then we found like a few customers for this simpler API and platform. And then they started like asking for more features, for more improvements, and was interesting. Like, so Woovi was our first startup that people want to buy the product, to buy the service, and we didn't have like the service, the full service. It was, and then I think like good startups like this, because even if your product's not so good and people want to use the product, is because you're solving a real problem, you know, you're not solving some bullshit. So we have this kind of like simpler API, and some people want to use like Magento 1 with Pix, but like we didn't have like the plugin yet. So the user just developed their own plugin to Magento 1 to integrate with us, to use like our APIs in their e-commerce. And then after that we built our own plugin. So this was like, okay, let me use your system, you know. I don't care if you don't have everything, but like that's good enough for me. So the thing about Woovi that's great, like we sell. So all the start of Woovi was, how do I say, inbound. So we received like a lot of leads. I think our first 1,000 customers was always from SEO, from inbound, like word of mouth. So people just coming in, registering by themselves. Everything it's how can I say
organic?
This? Yeah, everything's organic. You have all this kind of auto onboarding, like you don't need to talk to any humans to start using our products. We have like all this kind of automation to make it easy for new people to test the product, to start like building production. And then we build all this kind of like QAC, all these improvements. And then we are growing, and then right now we are growing more, doing like outbound sales. Like all the start was doing inbound sales. just improving the SEO, all the landing pages, all these new pages. And then our landing page right now, it's great. It has like our products, the features, a lot of like articles.
That's awesome. Yesterday I saw a video about a guy that was working in Intel in States, and he was sharing his experience with a startup. He said that when I was at Intel, I was really working like the normal hours of the day, but I was really tired. I didn't have motivation. I didn't have energy. And then I decided, okay, I will create my own business. And then he said my energy level came, and I still had like low energy to do the Intel job, but when I was home to work on my project, I kind of created some energy inside me that I didn't have, and I was working so hard and was really motivated. And he said that the big tech environment make you sometimes to feel like no energy. So my question to you is, did you start Woovie only with Woovie, or did you have something else at the same time that you had to manage energy and time?
Okay, yeah, before Woovie we had like Feedback House, our other SaaS product, and then we just stopped like improving our SaaS product, like we're focusing 100% on Woovie. We don't have other stuff to focus on. So it's fun, you know, like working your products, it's seeing like people using your product, and then if your product go down, like people complain a lot with you. So you know you're building something like. So the thing about like instant payments is that like if your service is out like for 1 minute, 30 seconds, people will complain, because like every minute matter, every minute that you're out of service, like they are losing money. So they care like a lot about your product, about everything else. So about like big tech and all, I think like the problem with big tech, it's because you're too far from the customer. So if you're not talking to the customer, you don't see like what you're building is useful or not. And then when you're like in a startup or a small one like ours, like less than 10 people, 15 people, you're very close related to the customer. And then you see that you can ship like something today and they are using the same day, and then okay, that's great, like, so can you improve this a little bit? And then you see like your working make a difference in their lives, you know, you're solving real problems to real people that you meet like every day. So every day we talk to a lot of customers, like every day we talk to customers, we see all the problems they have, and we understand which are the next steps for our product, you know. So we don't build anything that I want, we build everything that we heard from the customers, you know. So all the customers want this kind of feature, and then we are gonna build this, you know. It's not like something that I like, that I want, just everything that like customers want. It's not like there's no ego, there's no okay, I like this is nice, okay, let's build something and solve a real problem to the customer. That's how we think about it. I think that's easier, you know, you let the customer shape your roadmap.
Yeah, that's really, this seems really agile.
Yeah, so every day we just check it out, like the allocation of the developers, and they make sure they are working on the most important thing they should be working on to reduce the cost, to increase revenue, to bring more customers, to spend on more marketplace. And then that's how we think, you know. Every day we need to understand like if everybody's working on the best thing they should be working.
You mentioned about the Rails guy, and my question now is, who is your inspiration? Like, if you have to choose 3 guys to have a dinner to talk about business or about software, who would be the 3 people?
Okay, I think like Elon Musk is great. Like he thinks in how to simplify the process, how to reduce all the waste, and a lot about like optimization. I think that's great. I think I do a lot of this as well here, try to simplify stuff instead of like overcomplicate stuff. I think Elon Musk is really smart, like he's doing like Tesla, SpaceX, this whole stuff, and also Twitter. That's a big achievement, I guess. So I think Mark Zuckerberg is also great. Like has like a lot of social network, and also doing like a lot of open source. Open source Llama is great to kill the opponents, I guess. I think Sam Altman is also great. Like OpenAI, it's huge. They are like, I don't know, ChatGPT is awesome. It's really an awesome product, and they deserve all the success they have. I think these three guys is enough for me. But like I'm reading a lot about like all of them, all their articles. I don't know, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, all these great guys. They do understand how the world works, and I think that's great inspiration for us and for anybody.
This is really nice to see that you go beyond the tech, and what you said, they see how the world works is essential, especially for people who wants to live abroad. And in this podcast, we have a lot of people that wants to change, and we need to know how is the world, not only our home place. I have one more question about the WoW, and then I will go to another more out of work, and then we see where we go. The last question about WoW is, what was your most memorable day? The day that you really felt the best at WoW, and why?
I think like the best days of the WoW is when the revenue is growing a lot. That's great. Like when you're getting like more and more customers, that's great. When you can ship everything they're asking for, like it's going faster than you thought like would be. I think that's great. I don't know, like the first customers are great, like new customers, new use case, that's great. I think, I don't know, every day you're learning a lot. Like every day you're learning a lot of stuff. Every day you see like people using your product in a different way. They're trying to hack you. They're trying to use the products in the way you didn't thought about it. I don't know, they're showing you something that you didn't notice before. And I think that's great.
Yeah, the hacking part I didn't think, but it's true. So going out of work now, and I don't know if you have free time, because you mentioned the introduction, all what you have done. But what do you do when you're free to do anything and not work related?
Okay, yeah, I like to read a lot, for sure. I have a Kindle here. I do leisure for sure. I do CrossFit
Nice.
every day, like 6 a.m. 6 a.m. guy. Very early in the morning, first time, 1 hour with no phones, nothing, just 1 hour. Think about anything at all, no tech, no startup, no movie, nothing at all. 1 hour, just focus on the training. I spent some time with my wife and kid. I have a kid. I have my daughter, like 8 years old, and maybe watching some movies, some series. I think that's it. That's my leisure. Like I think traveling is also good. Like going to parks, going to a park, something like this. Another city close here from Florianopolis. I think that's it. Not much, no need to focus a lot on tech or are we doing like, you don't need to be productive all the time. You need to relax sometimes, I guess.
Yeah, it's really important. I also do CrossFit, and I had a sprain in my ankle last 2 weeks, so I couldn't do workout for 1 week. I really felt the stress accumulated, and if I don't do it, my mind gets so busy. And by the way, yesterday I bought a new ticket for the CrossFit Games again. Gonna be my third time in the games, and I'm excited.
Yeah, games are great. For sure.
So, what are your goals for 2024? We still have 6 months, 7, and 2025.
Okay, yeah, my goals for Wolfie is to grow Wolfie. Like, I don't know, double the size of Wolfie right now. We're still small. So we have a long path for sure, like build a lot, grow revenue, reduce costs. We're gonna probably hire like more 2, 3 devs for sure. Sounds like it's getting harder to find devs, developers, very hard. Like dollar is very high, so it's very hard to find like good devs here in Brazil. I don't know, for my personal life, just travel a little bit more. I don't know. I a lot of focus on my company right now on Woofy. That's my main focus right now because it's kind of like early days yet, so I need to make sure it's gonna be a success. Gonna like have the money to pay everybody. We have like money for 2, 3 years. Like we need to make sure it's gonna be a sustainable business, at least for now. So probably like more 2, 3, or I don't know, even more hard work years for sure.
Mhm.
Until it's get like sustainable and better. That's my goal for now.
That's a great goal, and it's a short period of your life that you work hard, but you guarantee your life.
Yeah, another path is always to keep learning, like learning a lot of stuff like AI, crypto, all this kind of like new tech. Like there's a lot of like new techs going on, like fusion, new kind of airplanes, like biology. I think there's a lot of things happening, not only tech, not only AI. Like there's like a lot of breakthroughs happening in other science areas. So I think that's great, like to read all this kind of like state of art and how they can help improve our lives. That's how I try to find like new stuff.
And I told you before the recording about our classic question of the most embarrassing moments, and you mentioned that you lived in States. So what was your
Okay.
most embarrassing moment in the States?
I don't know, I had like a lot of fun moments for sure. I was pretty young. I was like 21 years old. Like I went to US, I think the best age for sure because I could drink. I went to Vegas twice, like one in the end of the year for not for Christmas, for New Year's Eve. And then I went back in the summer with my friends. And then I think like was a lot of fun stuff, a lot of maybe some embarrassing stuff for sure there. I don't know. Everybody was young and drunk and was really nice for sure.
And do you have any question that you think I should answer in this episode?
Not sure. Yeah, so for me, like, yeah, I like to read like a lot of about anything, not only tech. I am very generalist, and I don't know. I think like my advice for a lot of people is just, I don't know, if you want to do something, do something. I don't know, don't be afraid. Most of the thing that you think are keeping you from doing something, it's kind of like a mental barrier that you create for yourself. I think kind of like this.
Yeah, that's a good advice, and people are really always blocking themselves with the imposter syndrome.
Correct.
And also I don't know how to say in English, but the vira-lata complex.
Yeah, Brazil is great. Like if you see like all the developers, like Brazilian developers are really great. They are really good, very hard working. Like they're good in large and all. So I think like anybody can compete with anybody in the world. I think like this kind of like, oh, you're from this country or from the other country, so you're better or worse. I think we don't have this anymore. Like with the internet, you can get like the same knowledge as, I don't know, any developed country. So it's up to you to make your life, to be like, to be great. If you want, you can do it, so if you have like the minimal stuff, like if you have like a laptop and internet connection, you can learn anything you want, you can make a difference, you can, I don't know, influence people. That's how I think.
And you don't need to be an expert, right? You can always teach someone that's starting.
Yeah, you can always, like, if you're not an expert, I think you can get like to the expert level, I don't know, in a few years, I guess. I don't know, 1-2 years, you can be an expert for sure. It's not so easy to catch up, I guess. I think it's easier enough, isn't an average, like, to catch up. And then if you're gonna focus on something, try to focus on something like the world needs, or something that's growing, like AI or instant payments. Try to find like a market that's growing and try to build your business on top of this. I think that's a good idea. If you think about like Amazon, they built something on top of the internet because they saw like internet was growing. Okay, I want to do a business on the internet. I don't care what's gonna be, like internet's gonna be huge. So anything's gonna be huge with the internet. You're gonna grow together with the market. That's what we are doing here at Uvi. We are growing together with Pix. Instant payments are growing, we are growing.
That's awesome. And I really loved the conversation. Thank you a lot for your time and for your insights. And I wish you success more than what you already have. Thank you, Sibelius.
Thank you, Alekson.
This podcast was edited by Ralf Carneiro.